Well, hello there, folks. How's it going today? Hope everyone's doing good. Uh, well, we got the frets all installed in this neck I've been working on, and everything come out really nice. Uh, Everything feels really good as far as the edges go and whatnot. Now, I didn't really go in real depth on how I go about finishing these off. I did show you the techniques I use to cut them back when they're hanging out after you first install them, and how I go about filing them flush to the fretboard here in the neck. Now I'd like to just go over some of the finer points of how I, finish this off completely. So I think I may have showed you guys this with the this little safe edge file. Now after you file the edges down like this, you're going to have the tang might be flush with the wood, but the very corners of the fret can be sharp, okay? And what I usually do is I start with the flat edge of the file. Remember, one edge is flat and the other one's rounded. So the flat edge gets you right down in to the corner of the fret wire, okay? This is the motion I use. Sometimes I'll even twist the neck as I do it, just like this. And it's kind of a compound motion. Now you just go down every one of them, and you just want to knock that little sharp edge off. Go down the other side, do the same thing, okay? Then flip your file over to the safe edge, and then we want to concentrate mostly on the upper part of the fret here, like up this way. You don't have to really think about it. The file's going to kind of set you up to do that anyway, so just go down through them. Like I said, I use this little tipping motion sometimes, like I said. Now that gets them pretty smooth. Now I can still feel a couple little bumps here as I go down. Not so much on the edges, but just on the top corner of the fret. So there's a few ways I do this. Sometimes I'll take a flat file like this, and I'm just concentrating on the very top of that crown. And all I do is I just kind of really lightly go over this, okay? And you can feel some resistance as well when you do this. Now, you don't want to get into this part of the fret because we don't want to scar that up. This is just to knock that very top corner of the crown down, okay? Because we already did the bottom edges, so I usually go down through and do that. I'll feel it. Sometimes I may do it with a crowning file as well. Again, just concentrating on the very tip of the crown. Really light touch here. I mean, we don't want to scratch it. We don't want to do anything but just kind of knock that crown down so we don't feel it as we, slide up the neck this way. Okay, now that feels pretty sweet right there. All in all. Now the next move I will do after I get that done, sometimes I'll take some micro mesh, like 1,000 grit, and just lightly go over these, okay? I'm not taping this off. What I do is I'll span 2 frets and I'll kind of just put my fingers over the 2. Again, a very, very light touch here. Just enough to kind of knock some of the little striations off left over from when we crowned them and all that. So everything's looking pretty good. And like I said, I'll just do this very lightly. Sometimes I'll even focus on the corner of the crowns with my micro mesh too. You can kind of feel if they're sharp and stuff. So again, this is all about feel and touch, okay? And keep checking things out. If you feel something, this one's a little sharp, so I'll just kind of set back and address it a little bit. Okay, so once you get that all done, then I'll usually get out my fret erasers. These little guys here. Okay, so you can get these pretty reasonable. Some guys don't like using these. I actually think they're pretty good. They come in different grits too, okay? And I have a bunch of these. Now what I do is basically just start right on a couple frets, the same thing like I did with a micro mesh. And I will push down pretty hard on these with a fret eraser, okay? Now, you should bridge 2 at least. You're going to end up bridging 3 before it's over. You can do them individually too. Just grab one and go. So I can see a nice shine coming up on the top of the fret wire. That's good. It does kind of give you a visual of how much crown you actually have too. They do leave some little like rubber stuff on the fretboard. Some guys hate it because they have to clean it up, and it doesn't affect me one way or the other. I just blow it off with the air hose. I take a cloth and just wipe the excess off. So again, I'm going to just go through this whole ritual here where I polish them up. I'm doing it a little bit fast just for the camera, but you guys get the point, okay? Now, you can kind of feel a dry resistance on the frets that really need to be polished. So, again, it's all a touch thing here, guys. You gotta figure out what that's supposed to feel like, and just kind of go from there. So you can see they're nice and shiny now. The fret ends feel good. They're not sharp. They feel just like little cotton swabs there, and that's what we want. If you couldn't let your little baby or little kid grab your neck on your guitar because it's sharp, then you need to fix it. I guess that's the best way I could put it. I mean, if you can't rub a balloon down across there or a piece of toilet paper without snagging it, then you got issues. So again, I will address those that way. I've even taken a fret eraser and just kind of worked the edges lightly too. That can be a good way to kind of polish those off as well. Like you said, these are pretty good. I'm pretty much done with that. So the next move, I need to install some tuners in here, and also the owner doesn't want this really gloss finish, okay? So what I've done is taken a piece of sandpaper here, really light grit, and I just scuff this down ever so slightly and just knock some of the shine off. That's all we're looking for. I don't want to go into the grain or anything like that, because that's an awful feeling neck when you have just open wood grain, and as your hand sweats and stuff, the grain gets all hairy and kind of pokes up. It's just not a good feeling for me, at least. Some guys may like that. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but this is what I usually do, and just kind of dull that down a little bit. So that feels pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is probably take some sealer, and I'll seal this back off. Again, it's not right through the finish, but sometimes when you're working up here where you filed and everything, it does kind of break through it. There's no way around it. You have to file this down, to the tangs flush. So you do end up getting into the wood a little bit. So I'm going to show you how I take care of that right now. Okay, folks, this isn't the can it came in. This is Thompson's water seal. You can get this at about any hardware store. It's for decks and whatnot to seal up the wood. So I put a little bit on my cloth, all right? Put a generous, nice coat on it. Now you can see that took care of the little bit of open grain that I sanded through on the finish to get the frets polished. Now, I just kind of coat the whole thing, all right? Get a nice even coat on her. And just let that sit for a few minutes, okay? And then we'll go back and we'll just wipe it off. And I'll look at it. If it needs another coat, I'll put another coat on. Now this will kind of dry, and it's not going to be a gloss finish at all. It's really just to seal any open pores up is all this really does. And it works really good. It doesn't damage the finish. I've used this many times. Just kind of stumbled onto this one day out in the shop, and I can't remember the first guitar I tried it on, but it took great care of it, and I couldn't see, well, you still can't tell right now where this was down to open grain right here along the fret tang edge. You can't tell. So what we're going to do, I've let it sit for a few minutes. I'd usually let it sit a little longer than this, but not a ton. I mean, we'll just take the cloth. I'm taking the dry side of the cloth here, and we just wiped it off. That's it. Now it does add a little bit of a shine back, right? It feels like silk though. It doesn't feel like lacquer. It just feels like satin. But you can't tell that I really did it. It really looks natural. And if you kind of blend that back in, see, I didn't sand the heel. I do need to clean up the holes because they're kind of swelled where the screws were. But so we've got original finish to this kind of satin feel. And it just kind of blends in nice, even up on the headstock here. You really can't tell that I did anything. Like I said, it feels great. So that's a little hack for you guys. I know I've had a few people ask me about this. How does it work? And people were curious about it. So there you go. It's already dried. I got my hand on it. We just did it right there in real time. So all in all, we're looking pretty good on this fret job. Like I said, these feel really good in my hand. I'm a stickler on that, so you can see we got them polished up pretty nice with the fret eraser. I got a couple more little spots of glue from where I refretted it and whatnot. Another little trick I do, just to make sure there's no nicks in the fret wire, I'll run my fingernail right down across it like this. If you feel a little nick in there, guess what? Your string's going to feel it too. So you got to make sure those are all cleaned up nice. No nicks, dings, no little surprises, okay? Really take your time doing that. Because once you string it up and you got a bad spot, it's labor intensive. We all know what it is. You got to take the strings off and do all that again. So that's kind of a little hack that I've been using. Like I said, with the water seal, works really great. Like I said, I mean, you can still see some kind of a shine on there, so you know there's something on there. And again, where I had to file down, into the wood here, and I actually kind of rolled the edges on this too. I usually do that on all my guitars just because it feels killer, and it's just my personal preference. So anyhow, you can put that sealer on your fretboard as well if you'd like. It's not going to hurt a thing. I'm probably just going to leave this one the way it is. There's a couple little spots of glue that I didn't get completely wiped off, and we'll take care of that, and we should be good to go. Again, the frets come out nice. Everything's nice and smooth, shiny, good to go. I will check it with a fret rocker one more time too before we string everything up. It's just a good idea. Check it all the way across and just make sure that nothing rocks, okay? Again, even just sliding that across, you'll feel if there's any dings in the fret wire or anything like that. So just check it. Make sure you have no high frets. Make sure your neck's straight when you do this stuff, always. And, you should be good to go. Like I said, I'm happy with this one. It come out really nice. I think the owner's going to be more than happy when he wraps his paws around it. So, the next thing I'm going to do to it, like I said, is just install some tuners. I probably won't shoot a video on it. I think I already did, so I'll probably just let that one slide. And what we're going to put in for tuners is these style, the old Fender have the 2 alignment studs on them. Okay, now I'm going to probably have to drill these out. Yeah, I got to drill them out, so we'll get them drilled out to the proper size, and then what I do is just set them in there in the proper direction, which would be like this. Okay, so I'd set them in there. The 2 alignment studs are on this side. Okay, so once we get the hole drilled, we can push the tuner down in as far as it'll go, and I'll either clamp a block of wood up against the tuners so I have something to align them to, or just take a piece of tape and put a piece of tape across there straight. And you can also kind of use the top edge of the headstock to kind of see if they're crooked or straight. And once I know it's straight, I'll push it down in, take my fret hammer, and I'll give it a tap. And that will sink these 2 little alignment pins into the wood enough so I can get a reference point to just drill them out. You can use a drill. I even use an awl. I don't have one right here. This is just a tester, but if you take a sharp point like that with an awl, you can push that down in and widen them right out. And I've done it without even drilling. So that's an option too. I just wanted to pass that along. And, like I said, I don't think I'm going to shoot a video on this. I've already done it, and you guys are probably sick of watching me do fret work. So in any case, I just wanted to pass some of that info along about finishing these off and my approach to that, and also with the water seal. That really works great, guys. I mean, that's just like I said, it's just like satin. Feels really, really good in your hand. Nice and smooth, not sticking or anything like that. So you don't have to sand the finish right off. Just dull it down a little bit. You can use really fine sandpaper or some like triple O steel wool or quad O steel wool, and that'll take care of it as well. Just do a little at a time and check it and keep making sure you're not breaking completely through the lacquer. And if you do, it's really not the end of the world, because the sealer will seal it up and you won't feel the hairy wood grain, okay? All right, folks. Well, I guess I'm going to end this little series on this fret job. Like I said, I'll try to get back into maybe playing some guitar. I'm going to try to get this back together today, and we'll see. I'll probably do a sound test with it and just see what it does. So, again, I'm going to just install the tuners on it and put everything back together. And, I'll have to do a setup and make sure the nut height is correct where we put new frets in. They could be a little bit taller than what was there, so something else to keep in mind when you're doing this. Well, all right, gang. Thanks again so much for all the support and the views, nice comments. Really great community here on this channel. I'm just really, really happy to be involved in it, and it seems like you guys really enjoy this stuff. So, like I said, I hope it really helps somebody out. Maybe it'll save you some money, and maybe just get you, in the direction of learning how to do this kind of stuff on your own. It's really fun, they're just fun projects. It's not like you have to lift, 5-gallon buckets full of dirt all day or anything like that. It's pretty easy. Like I said, it is a little taxing on your hands, all the filing and handwork, but just take your time. Don't try to do it all in 10 minutes. Well, again, folks, thanks again so much for all the support and the likes, comments. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. And if you don't, that's okay too. I'm good with that as long as you guys are getting the info and enjoying it. All right, well, have a good day, folks. We'll see you real soon. Be good. Okie doke.